Hello all. Thank you for joining Ask the Expert session today. I'm Ashok, Quicksite Specialist Solution Architect with AWS. And as part of this session today, we will be discussing about Quicksite IP restriction feature. First, let's look into the agenda for the meeting today. So first, we will do a quick overview of IP restriction, and then I'll be doing a demo where I'll be showcasing how you can implement IP restrictions either using the Quicksite UI or a little bit about how you can look into the current IP restrictions or update using the API calls. And after the demo, we can do a Q&A and we'll sharing some resources like a blog content that is available on the same topic. Okay, let's get into the overview first. So IP restriction, this is one of the commonly asked questions on the from our customer side or in the QuickSite community forums as well. The Internet Protocol restriction or IP restriction acts as an additional layer of security in certain cases where the organization wants to limit its users to access the QuickSite either from QuickSite UI or from the mobile application or as well as from the embedded pages as well. So this Quicksite UI, the UI itself offers you an option where we're going to look into that in a demo shortly, where you can add different IP ranges which you want to block or allow access to. Okay, and some of the key points that needs to be taken at while setting up the Quicksite IP restriction here is the only the admin users with AWS identity and access management, the IAM credentials are allowed to implement these rules. That is one of the criterias. And the IP rules can only be applied on Amazon QuickSite web app, the web application, or when you embed a QuickSite into one of your web-based applications or from the mobile access only. And these IP rules do not restrict the public API operations. For example, there are a lot of API operations that you can perform as part of the QuickSite, like listing the users or describing the users or describing the data sets kind of stuff. So that are not restricted from the IP ranges. And you can update IP rules only from the region where your account is created. What I mean is, let's say you have registered your QuickSite account as part of the US East one as your primary region. So these IP restrictions can be applied only from the base region where the account has been created. And finally, once these rules are applied, this gets applied across globally to all AWS regions. It is not limited only to the base region that is being created. Okay, with that, let's start looking into the demo today. Let me open my Quicksite and I'll walk you through the navigation. Currently, I'm on my AWS console. From here, I'll be going to the Quicksite page. Just give me a minute, please. I hope you can still see my screen, correct?
Yes, Ashok.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So currently I'm on my Quicksite page. On this one, on the top right is where we see the user profile and manage Quicksite option. This are specifically for the admin users. I'm going to manage Quicksite. Under this, here is the security and permission page where you can configure all the data source connection or any kind of account management related to security permissions can be done from this page. Here under this, one of the sections is IP restrictions. This is where we're going to manage, add, or update the IP rules. Okay. So currently here it has two sections. One is CIDR block where we'll be adding the IP range, and the description is optional, but it is good practice to add to understand what IP range is being configured. Okay, currently the rules are turned off, so any rule that we tied here is currently not applied. So before making any changes, I'm going to switch my presentation to my home computer to demonstrate how before and after of applying the rules is going to work. Okay. Now let me stop sharing this screen here from my AWS computer, and I'm going to start sharing from my other PC. Share. Okay. So from this one, I'm just going to open a Quicksite page. Currently, there is no rule applied, so I'm able to access the Quicksite from anywhere. And just a minute. I'm logging into my account. So this is my home PC where I'm able to access my Quicksite account from this page. So now we're going to update the rules on the AWS account from the other PC and going to apply the rules to block the content. And another point I would like to highlight is when I say IAM based user, there are two different identity types in Quicksite. One is Quicksite type and the other one is IAM. So this is just the Quicksite identity type to just to show you the difference here. Even this user, I'm logged in as an admin, but when you look into my IP restrictions page of this user, which is my personal email ID, the IP restriction option is blanked or disabled. Okay. Now to identify my IP, I'm just going to use the website what's my IP. As I agree. As you can see, this is my public IP, which is 68 to 154 and 96. And to construct the complete CIDR block, I'm also going to check my IP config from my computer here. As you can see, the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0, which is 24 for the CIDR block. So with this information, I'm going to update the rules on the other computer. And let me stop sharing here and go back to my AWS PC. And let me start sharing from here again. Screen 2. Okay, I'm back to the original view where I've started my demo. And as you can see, the admin slash Dasaneni, this is my AWS account. And I'm going to apply those rules here. Manage Quicksite. Actually, I'm not going to apply the rules at this time. First, I'm just going to turn it on and show you how this works. Back to security permissions page, IP restrictions, manage. So currently here are the set of the rules available, which are related to IP ranges of my office computer. And here I'm going to add a couple of rules. Here by default, it indicates, shows what is our IP address at this time. I'm going to copy that and show you how we can add the rules. So as part of CIDR block, add the IP range and the subnet block number. I'm going to 24. I'm just going to label it as AWS1, add the rule. And I'm going to add one more rule for 22 and label it. Click on add. So once I apply this, I'm going to save the changes. And as you can see, the information, it may take up to 10 minutes. Let me save the changes here. And I'm going to turn on the rules. Turn it on. Okay. Now, these rules, whatever we applied for the specific IP ranges, so the Quicksite should be allowed or can be accessible only from these IP ranges, or any request that's coming out of this will be blocked. Okay. So since it's going to take some time to get these rules applied. I will quickly walk you through the API options that we have. This is my command line window, which is configured for the current AWS account. So Quicksite, the IP restriction gives two API operations which can be executed from the CLI. The one is the describe IP restriction and other one is IP update the IP restriction. I'm going to describe this for my account. You can see AWS Quicksite, describe IP restriction. This is the API call for the account ID that we're working on now. I'm going to hit enter. This gives me the description of all the IPs, that is rules that is currently being applied, their description, and if it is enabled or not. When it is enabled, it's set true true. When it is no enabled, it is turned off. And other action is update, which supports a bulk operation of adding multiple IPs at one shot. So I'm currently not going to execute because the current UI changes are in progress. So I don't want to disturb the current setup. So in this one, just to walk you through, you can perform update IP restriction for the account ID. Either it can be enabled or not enabled. So let's try this one, disabling the current IP restriction at end of the session. I'm going to just undo this for now. Okay. So now the rules are turned on. Now let me click on the quick site. As you can see, I'm able to access all the dashboards, everything, because my IP, which I'm using from my office computer, is being added as part of the security and permissions here under manage security. Okay. Now I'm going to switch back to the home computer where I was presenting from using the other credentials and show you how this IP restriction block is going to work. Let me stop sharing here. And I'm going to start presenting from my other computer. Start screen share. Okay, I'm currently here where I was showing my public IP 68.2.154.96, which we have applied, which we hadn't added to the list of allowed rules, allowed IP ranges. Now let me refresh this page. It may take some time. Okay, let me also open an as I was explaining at the start of the demo, even the embedding sessions are blocked. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to open another incognito browser from my personal computer, and this URL is gets the request the dashboard embedded from my one of my accounts. Sorry, under the same account. Okay. Okay, and I think the rules got applied now. So as you can see, currently this page is active. When I do a refresh, as you can see, you don't have permissions to view this page. This is because we didn't added this particular IP range to access the Quicksite from the personal computers. So current rule condition blocks or restricts access only for the IP ranges that has been already defined. So now on the other side, I'm going to go switch back to the other computer and undo the changes and show you like once we disable this, how this is going to work. Let me stop sharing here. And I'm going to take control on the office computer again. Start sharing screen too. As you can see, that IP range which I was showing on my personal computer 68.2.154.96 is currently not part of this one. So that's how the IP restriction works. So in order to have access to the QuickSite, either through UI or embedded or mobile, we need to have add that IP range as part of the rules here. Now I'm going to turn off the rule. Instead of doing it from the UI, I'm going to do it from the API call to show you how that works. copy this, and I'm going to put my API. So I'm doing AWS Quicksite, update IP restriction for the account ID. I'm going to make it no enabled, and I'm not passing any of these IP ranges here. I'm just going want to disable that. Okay, it was successfully updated. Let me go back to my screen, and here you can see still it is turned on. Let me refresh the page. Okay, as you can see, the rule is turned off. So this way you can use both API programmatic approach, or you can do it on from the UI to turn it on and off the rules. And at the same time, you have also option to add the multiple rules and description to it. Okay, so now this is turned off. For one last time, let me go back to the my personal computer and show you if turning off the rules is going to let me access the QuickSight from the other computers which are not in this range. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing the session here and take control from the personal computer again. Start screen share. As you can see on my personal computer, which is this IP, is still forbidden. It is not letting me to connect. Let's give a couple of minutes to refresh. The rules get applied. Let me close and reopen once again. Still, it is taking some more time. I'm just going to verify on the other computer, like what is the status from the API. It is turned off. Yeah, looks like rules are disabled now. Great. Let me go back to the Quicksite UI console from my personal computer here. Refresh the page. Yeah, as you can see, the rules are disabled now, and it's letting me to access anywhere from any other computer, which is also not listed on the IP rules there. Okay, so let me switch back to my computer, share screen. Okay, so here you can see I've just run the AWS describe QuickSite describe IP restriction for this account where it shows all my IP ranges that I've configured. And as you can see, the status is false, enabled false, which means the rules are turned off. Okay, let me quickly reiterate one more time. So we have looked into QuickSite IP restriction rules today. And the steps are go to the Quicksite. On the top right, manage Quicksite page. Under this, security permissions. And under that, IP restriction, manage. This is where you can add or remove rules and you can turn off and turn on the rules. Okay. Thank you.